Hey guys, it's Louis. Today I'm going to talk about relationships and settling. And what brought this on really was the fact that I was watching How I Met Your Mother. It was talking about being hooked and kind of just deep down inside that they're not really into you, and they keep kind of leading you on to believe that they want to be with you just because right now you're the best thing they have right now, but they're really looking for something else. And it really started making me think about my friends and settling. Now, I have a few friends that I just don't understand why sometimes they get involved in relationships that are just somewhat not good for them. It's just very unhealthy. Like, I have a good friend of mine that she is extremely attractive, very, very successful, and yet she's with somebody that's not really up to par with them. One could argue that yes, it's about love and all that, but if you really think about it, at least I don't think that the person that they're with is as into it as she is. And it always kind of baffles me, and I don't understand why sometimes people that are in a relationship, even though they know that that person may not feel the same way about them, they still stay in the relationship. I know that a lot of people argue with me that I've never been in a relationship long enough to actually know about things like this, but the reality is this. I think within 3 months, you have a pretty good idea of whether you want to be with that person or not. And I've been in a lot of situations where I've really liked the individual, but I just felt that that other person wasn't really committing, or not even committing, but just showing interest in me. I mean, there's some basic things that you can figure out already by the way they talk to you, by the amounts of time they call you, whether you're the one always initiating things. And there comes a point when you start realizing, oh my God, this person's not really into me as I want them to be. And it could be various reasons. Some people have their guard up, or some people just don't, they take things really, really slow. But the reality is that when feelings are involved, you kind of throw everything out the window, and you just end up doing and breaking all your rules that you set up for yourself, and just doing things out of the goodness of your heart because you really like this person. But sometimes you have to really sit back and realize that this may not be the person for you because they're not being the same way, and they're not treating you the way that you're treating them. And it's very, very difficult to do, to let somebody go when you have feelings for them, but you have to do it early. So that's why I have a 3-month rule, that after the third month, if I see that my feelings have not developed, or if I'm seeing that they themselves are not really wanting to do anything else but just hang out all the time, and I have strong feelings for them, then I set it free. A lot of times you just have to do that. It's for your own good. So I just don't understand, and I can't fathom the idea of somebody being in a relationship for over 2 or 3 years, knowing that this person does not feel the same way about them, and yet they still stick around. I get the whole thing about like not wanting to be alone or whatnot, but it's like, why do people do this? Like, if you're in a relationship like that, let me know, because I've always been baffled by friends of mine who are in this relationship and they're always complaining about the relationship, yet they don't get out of it. And sometimes it's bad. I mean, there's verbal abuse, physical abuse, person doesn't work, doesn't have a job, doesn't have a drive. I mean, there's a lot of factors. And I am a firm believer that when you're in a relationship, you have to take the pros and the cons. But sometimes these cons are really, really bad. So I don't understand why certain individuals stick in these relationships hoping that this person's going to change. And we all know that people don't change overnight. And if they do, it's on their own accord, not because you change them. So I'm not understanding why some people are wasting their time in this relationship trying to fix it, when most of the time there is no remedy. It has to come from within the person. And it shouldn't be up to you to try to change that person. So I don't understand why people stick around in these relationships that are very unhealthy. And as a word of advice, just get out early before it gets too hard to get out of the relationship. And just know that you need to find somebody who, when you wake up in the morning, makes you happy. That when you're thinking about them all day long, and that they are waiting for you at home with open arms, like that's what I'm waiting for. That's why, yes, my longest relationship has been 3 months, but I haven't settled yet, and I've really liked guys before. There's some guys that I've really fallen for, but they just didn't feel the same way about me, and I myself had to take the initiative and just call it quits, you know. And then they'll ask, oh, why don't you want to be with me? Or sometimes I'll be like, oh, okay, like nothing ever happened. But sometimes they'll champion it, and it's only because you're hurting their ego. It's not because they really care about you. Because a lot of times, guys and girls alike do tend to like to be selfish about people's feelings. They want you, which this is where the hooked situation comes from, How I Met Your Mother, where they don't fully commit to you, but they got you hooked and they have you there just in case something better comes along, and then they can toss you aside. So they don't fully commit to you, and I just don't understand why people can't just be straight up. If you don't like the person, then just say, hey, listen, you know what, I don't like you like that. Yeah, I like cuddling with you and I like hanging out with you, but I see that you like me more than I like you, so it's just better that we stop doing this. You know, like, be a little bit more sensitive towards the other person's feelings, which I never understand. I know so many people that just drag relationships along just because they don't want to be along, or it's good company or whatever. Well, the poor soul is out there just suffering, trying to jump through hoops just to try to make this person understand that they're the right person for them. Just don't do it. I don't agree with it. So write in your comments below whether you agree with what I have to say or not. And if you're in a relationship like that, tell me what makes you want to stay in that relationship, because I still have a hard time understanding why somebody would want to stay in a relationship that is just toxic to their life and to everyone around them. So comment below. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. And check out my other videos. You can follow me on Twitter, and I have a Facebook and Instagram and all that good jazz. And I will probably see you next week. Take care. Bye.